A macaque named Punch and his plushy companion have drawn a legion of fans across the world after videos of the baby primate went viral on social media this month. Zoo officials gave Punch the stuffed orangutan as a comfort mechanism because he was abandoned by his mother at birth. Since then, the zoo has then been trying to reintegrate Punch back into the troop.
Now, meanwhile, Jo, the internet has been full of memes and love about the animal's predicament. Even IKEA is getting on board with the hang in there Punch hashtag. So what exactly is going on with the troop? Are they a bunch of meanies? Let's find out. Carla Litchfield is a professor of psychology and expert in animal behaviour at Adelaide University and is with me now. Very good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh, not at all. So Punch grabbed our hearts yesterday, not just ours here at Weekend Breakfast. It seems not across the country and the world. Can you firstly explain, Carla, why Punch would have been abandoned by his mum?
Okay, well, one of the things that we do know just from reading the stories on the internet is that it was the height of summer. So these are often called snow monkeys. So they tend to live in cooler areas. You may have seen them in documentaries where they actually swim and lie around in these natural hot springs so that they warm up when it's really cold and snowy. So he was born in the height of summer in a week where there was a heat wave in sort of over 30 degrees. So his mum was probably heat stressed. She was a first-time mum from just the things that I've read on the internet. So she would have been having all sorts of issues. It's also a captive environment. So it's not natural. And in fact, it's ironical because zoos tend to have naturalistic enclosures with no toys that look unnatural. And yet this IKEA plushie has grabbed people's attention, and it's almost a great marketing tool because thousands have been going to the zoo and buying more of these plushies. But yeah, we connect to Punch because he's just a baby. He's like a hairy little human baby, and like human babies, he needs a mum or a caregiver to protect him, to teach him how to be a little monkey. They have long childhoods where they have to learn all the behaviours to survive, and they're very, very intelligent and a social species like humans. And he's just a baby, and so for him, this plushie is comfort. And it's a bit like the sad part for me is that it reminds me of the Harry Harlow experiments in the 50s and 60s where monkeys were taken from their mums and then they were hand-reared with either a wire mother who provided food but was basically this wired, not cuddly surrogate mum, and then the soft mother who they ran to for comfort, even though no food was provided. So they want to cling, they want to get comfort. And so this plushie is like that surrogate, just like a little kid would run to their mum for comfort.
Yeah. Carla, I want to ask you a couple of things here because there's a lot going on. Why is Punch struggling to find acceptance with the troop? What sort of animal behaviour is that?
Well, he was taken away from the group and hand-reared, and that's why zoos tend not to hand-rear infants because they have to learn their normal behaviours by being in the group with their mum who protects them and teaches them things. And so he was reintroduced to the group in the hope that he would become part of the group again, and it sounds like he's integrating. He's starting to do some grooming behaviours. He's starting to do a bit of play, but just like any baby, or child, they have bouts of play and then they run back to mum. And if something goes a bit scary, they run back to mum. So he's actually doing what an infant would do, a primate.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll end up okay and he'll be part of the group, but he'll have to integrate and learn these behaviours or else he'll be kind of like a messed up weird little guy who doesn't know how to be a proper monkey. So that's why you want him to be part of a group.
Okay, so you're calling his future might be a messed up poor little guy, but is it really upsetting for him or is it just upsetting for us humans going, oh, the poor thing, he's being left out, he's being bullied?
Well, it's upsetting for him because he doesn't have a protector or that the monkey caregiver that he can go to for comfort. Maybe he'll be adopted by one of them, maybe he'll be protected. But this species is actually known as being quite a gentle species, and that's why, unfortunately, they're the most popular biomedical subject in Japanese labs for medical experiments. And for mapping of the brain for neuroscience experiments. But they're also considered pests by farmers. So about 5,000 a year are culled or killed because they raid crops because of climate change and habitat loss. So this kind of opens lots of things. What I hope won't happen is that once things go viral on the internet and people love him so much, the question that most zoos get asked most is, can I have a pet monkey? Because people want them as a pet. And there's an illegal trade in these little guys where they're taken from the wild or sold illegally to people all over the world. And they're cute when they're little, but when he's 4, he's going to be a big monkey. He would be trashing the house. He needs to be with a group. And so they make absolutely terrible pets, and they need to be with their conspecifics or other monkeys.
Okay, really briefly, Carlos, I've got to get moving on. What more could zookeepers be doing to help him fit back in?
Well, I think they're doing what they can at this point because the choice was made to remove and hand rear him, but they're trying to integrate him back to the group. So they're doing what they can because they can't be in the enclosure being his caregiver and fighting off other monkeys. So they have to give it a chance for the group to integrate because this is his family. Like from what I can gather, his mum's still in that enclosure or part of this group. So he knows this is his family. So, it's best case scenario, but it also shows that is this an ideal enclosure for a monkey that lives in the wild because it's made of concrete. You may not know, but I'm a scientist who was a month in an enclosure, so I know what it's like to be in an enclosure in a zoo. So about 20 years ago, I was in the human zoo, and I had, and that was the height of Australian summer, and I had thermometers set up around the enclosure, and in an enclosure like that, in the 30-degree days, it could be 60 plus degrees in parts of the enclosure. So you sort of have to wonder, is this, the ideal enclosure? Is this accredited Wasa Zoo?
Gosh.
So, there are too many questions to answer in 5 minutes.